Autobots will never sacrifice freedom.
The Transformers franchise hasn't been blessed with good video games. Now, after many failed attempts, Hasbro has decided to turn the franchise over to High Moon Studios, a relatively new company that doesn't have any AAA game titles under their pedigree. Can they do the unthinkable and create the best Transformers game of all time?
He's just laughing at us.
Transformers War for Cybertron opens as the Decepticons are discovering a new energy source called Dark Energon. Meanwhile, on the Autobot side, Optimus still hasn't yet become the leader, but decides to take charge after he finds out Zeta Prime has been killed. This chain of events results in what will be the end of the Cybertron War. Also, in case you haven't heard, Hasbro has green-lighted the story for Transformers War for Cybertron, meaning it is now official story canon, and in it we get to figure out how a lot of characters meet each other and what happens before the G1 series. Transformers War for Cybertron allows you to either be an Autobot or a Decepticon and go through their story. The story mode is chapter-based. You move from one objective to another, and at each objective you either have a cutscene or you have a boss fight. The story mode will take you around 10 hours to complete, but replay value is added as you're allowed to go through it again in co-op online. Transformers War for Cybertron isn't just running and gunning. You can transform and you're gonna need it at certain parts in the game. There's no real cover, but there are spots in the land that are moved up so that you can get behind them. There's also a lot of chase scenes in the game. There's also another mode in the game called Escalation Mode that can be played with up to 4 players online co-op. Think Nazi Zombies Call of Duty World at War. And it gets very addicting once you get into the later waves of the game and survival starts to get thin. The game features online multiplayer. In it you can create your own Transformers character. The options are pretty sparse. All you can really do is change the color, the name, and the guns. We were promised a complete Transformers creation mode, so it's a bit disappointing. But don't worry, this doesn't even come close to affecting the online multiplayer. It's still great. You can level up online, and there's also kill streaks just like in Call of Duty. There's also many varying character types like the Scientists, fast jet-like characters that can transform, get in the battlefield, kill you, and then fly away in the blink of the eye. There are many other variant game modes like Conquest, a mode like Star Wars Battlefront 2 where you have to capture points on the map. Or like Countdown to Extinction where you have to capture bombs and plant them before the other team. Online is definitely the best part of Transformers War for Cybertron. The framerate runs smoothly with lots of things on screen, and the graphics look pretty good, but there are instances where graphics don't even load on the characters for a couple seconds. The game developers do a good job of distinguishing different parts of Cybertron from other parts. Not everything looks like one giant metal rock. But alas, there are way too many problems with this game. First off, there's way too much lag when you're playing online. It's hard to find a game that doesn't have lag in it. Characters will sometimes randomly glitch out in the background and show skins of each other. Sometimes when you exit a turret, you'll get stuck in turret mode and won't be able to fire anything. Other times when you're playing co-op online and if somebody leaves, the AI character completely disappears. Other times you'll get completely stuck in an invisible wall and won't be able to continue the game without restarting from the last chapter. And of course there's the frequent disconnects. Every time I try to enter a game, it's like 4 or 5 tries before I get a game that doesn't say your connection error has occurred and you've been booted back to the frickin' menu. It's such a disappointment this game came out with so many glitches and bugs. Though there's nothing wrong with the sound effects in the game, everything sounds as it should when you blow something up, and the Transformers sound worked great. Peter Cullen and many other famous voice actors reprised their roles as characters in the game. And the soundtrack is amazing with many orchestral pieces, and of course those 80s rock music hits. And yes, they got the right voice actor for Soundwave. Alright, so in the end, I just can't give this game a 9.5 or stuff like that. I just can't. There's too many glitches and bugs. I know there was a lot of effort put into this game, and you can see that. But it was clearly rushed out by Activision. But honestly, if it had another 2 months in its development cycle, this might be the best Transformers game ever made. But if you can get around the glitches and bugs, it's a pretty damn good Transformers game. I highly recommend it.